Call this beat Will Smith, cause it slaps hard. Hear it not when I pull up on your boulevard. So guys, as you may be unaware of, I am a huge movie buff and I love going to the movies. I go every weekend. I got an AMC pass to do it. And one of the genres of movies that I love are superhero movies. And so if you're like me, one of the bigger genres that you like to go to see is the Marvel movies, because Marvel, since 2008, has been pretty consistent in terms of putting out relatively decent movies that are enjoyable. They have stories that go back to back, and I just have a great time at the theater when I go see them. So this past weekend, Marvel's 33rd entry into the movie series, The Marvels, featuring Brie Larson as Captain Marvel and two other ladies that are in the film. It came out this weekend, and of course, I had to go see it. And you know what? Spoiler, guys, I had a great time. Like, I know I had seen some negative headlines about it, potentially being bad or stale or whatever. I still had a great time, went there, and just some of the fighting scenes were absolutely epic. It was fantastic to me. But that said, the movie flopped like hard. I'm not talking like, oh, it only made like $90 million against a $200 million budget. I'm talking it made like $47 million, which is officially the lowest number debuting monetary-wise movie that Marvel has put out since the first Hulk movie came out back in 2008. Now, what's interesting about this particular conversation is that one of the things that people think may have happened is what they've been calling superhero fatigue. Now, that's been talked about for a lot of years with DC's row and stuff at Warner Brothers and other various types of superhero movies. But what's interesting about Marvel's flop is that in the last few years, they've really been churning out a whole lot of movies. I'm talking like they got up to where they were putting out 4 movies a year on top of putting out TV shows that you also had to follow that correlated with stuff that was happening in the movie. So like in 2021, they had like 4 shows debut that year on top of like 4 movies. It's like 8 movies in a year. And so when you're putting out that much output, the public at large, even if they like you and like what you're putting out there, they can start to get a little bit tired, you know? When Marvel started out, they were putting out like 2 movies a year, and then it got to where they were putting out 3 movies a year, and that was relatively manageable. But they went from 3 movies a year to like 4 movies and 4 TV shows, and then little side projects here and there. Like, it was just a lot. And so what can happen over time is that people start to get tired of all this output. Like, they want to like the product, but aside from the, the quality control of things being rushed and CGI and all of this stuff, that's also very possible. But the public at large can just get tired because I get what Marvel's trying to do. They're thinking, wow, people really like us. We should just put out more stuff for them to grab onto. And what they're finding out now is that that is actually a bad strategy. So why the heck do I bring this up in a dating show? The reason I bring it up is because I try to give you guys examples of things that are happening beyond just the dating world, but that correlate to the dating world so you can see how these things work across a wide variety of areas. For example, I've said time and time again on this show that dating is just like sales. And so there are various principles in sales that also work really, really well in dating. So with this Marvel mishap, what you need to take from this is a lesson that I've tried to give you guys time and time again, which is this, is that sometimes, even if you mean well, giving somebody too much of a good thing can result in them starting to reject said thing. And so this is definitely a lesson for you guys out there that are the ones that want to consistently text a girl all the time, call her all the time, try to see her every single day, try to, hang out with her all the time when you first meet her. You're thinking the opposite, which is, oh, in order for her to get to like me more, she needs to see more of me, experience more of me, hear from me a lot more, and that'll result in her liking me more, because if she's getting more of me, of course, it's going to satisfy her enough to where she's going to realize how much she likes having me around, and then she's going to want to keep doing that. And what I try to stress to you guys is that when you apply patience to your dating game and you hold back a little bit and you don't give of yourself so freely and you're not overreaching, then that gives a woman time to get to know you at her pace and decide when she wants to come to you and when she wants to invite you more and more into her world. You giving it freely, you're thinking she's going to appreciate that, but if we look at the Marvel mishap, what happened? They're putting out 3 movies a year, people were satisfied, and they said, you know what? Let's up it up to 4 movies a year and 4 TV shows and 2 side projects, and they're gonna absolutely love it. And now what's happening? The public at large is starting to rebel against that and reject it because it basically feels like they're now stuffing all of their content down our throats. And there was a time when that wasn't happening. Think about the fact that, between Avengers movies, you had to wait like 3 or 4 years, and then the last couple of ones, you only waited like 1 or 2 years. But the point is that that wait time, it just built up anticipation for us to want to see the next movie. It's the same thing with dating. When you take a woman out on a date and it's like one of the best dates, she's having a good time, you're building chemistry, making her laugh, and then you leave her alone. Now you're thinking, oh, I can't leave her alone because she's gonna be mad and whatever. And what you're actually doing is you're allowing her to build anticipation for what could potentially happen the next time she sees you, if you decide to call her, because she's not currently aware if that's gonna even happen. And all those things are gonna be a lot better. Now, when you get into a relationship, obviously, once you're in a relationship with the woman, it's gonna be guaranteed that you're probably gonna see more of her, she's gonna interact with you a lot more, and you're gonna have enough chemistry there at that point and enough time put in to where if she happens to see you more often than not, it's gonna be totally fine. But in the dating phase, you kill that off. And then even in relationships, people make the mistake of thinking, now that I'm in a relationship, I can't ask for my alone time, I can't give her alone time, we have to do every single activity together ever or else she's gonna be mad or I'm gonna be mad, and that's not healthy either. Just because you're in a relationship with the person doesn't mean that you need to still be around them all the time. This goes back to Marvel. You could be the biggest Marvel fan in the world, but you're probably not staying at home watching Marvel stuff 24/7 because you too recognize that it's good to take a break from that, maybe watch some other stuff, so you can build up anticipation towards whatever Marvel's putting out next. And so this is the lesson that Marvel's learning now, and which is gonna be great because what's gonna happen because of the strikes that just happened is that next year, the only Marvel movie that's coming out in theaters is Deadpool 3. And this is the first time in a long time that we've only had one singular Marvel movie from the Marvel side, because I think Sony's putting out stuff too. But from the Marvel side of things, there's only one movie coming out. And that gives them time to what? A, reassess what they're doing. B, polish up their scripts, because as much as I enjoy these movies, some of the last few movies that have coming out could have used a little bit more time in the oven, but also it's going to give the public at large time to miss them and think, man, we only got Deadpool last year. I really want to see another Marvel movie now. And that's what Marvel needs, is they need us to come back to them and say, hey, we're ready to see you again, versus them just throwing stuff at us. And it's like, dude, so many lines, so many plots, I need a break. And so I think they also have the Echo TV show coming out, but that's a TV show. That's going to be in January. They might have one other TV show come out. But the point is that they're significantly slowing down their output. The previous president came back and said, oh my God, Marvel's doing too much, and he decided to slow it down. And that is the method you need to also take in your dating life. If you're finding that after 2 or 3 dates, which you probably had back to back, and you've had 2 weeks of nonstop texting her, you find that women are starting to leave you alone or ghost a bit or say, hey, I need my space, or I don't know what it is, but I don't feel the same way. It could very well be that you're doing the Marvel output, that you're trying to make yourself too available to this woman early on, and you're thinking she's gonna be grateful, but she's not gonna actually appreciate it. She's gonna get tired of it. It's gonna feel overwhelming, and she's going to start to leave. So if you just look, again, that's why I tell you guys, you need to study everything, but really look at what are other examples in the real world that can be parallel to dating and where I see results. So now you see what happens in the movie world. When studios start putting out too much of the same kind of product, the public at large starts to get tired, and they too, even if they like that stuff, need a break. Women that have high interest in you will still at times need a break from you. Don't be insulted by it, don't be hurt, just know what it is, and then preemptively make yourself less available to start, so that way she'll be coming towards you. Because as I always say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. But if you're constantly putting yourself out there, readily available all this time, it's not gonna be appreciated, and you're gonna lose out.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man.